Hello.
Hey! Oh, Ben,
Is that the guy when the shoe came off?
So I did everything that I could, even if you break my arm or you carry me off. That's literally my mindset at that time. So please,
and I'll see you on the next time on Dragon Ball Z. Oh, where arm wrestling matters. Boom!
This is Inside the Strap.
Oh, Fano, we are back. This is your boy, Chill Daddy the Cap, and we have down below me
Mr. Tahini, who's on board as well. I don't really have a flash intro like you, but you know, everyone knows my face. Mr. Tahini.
Tonight, guys, we got a special guest tonight, and we will reveal him. It is Leonard. How are you, buddy?
What's up, guys? Good. Thanks for having me on.
Okay, before we always start our podcast, we always do the highs and lows about our journey in arm wrestling and what it's done for us over the years. So we'll kick it off with Ben, so Finn can get the idea. So let's go,
Okay.
Ben.
Easy as I'll introduce myself again. My name's Ben Tahini, and I've been doing arm wrestling now for almost 7 years. And one of the highs of arm wrestling in my life was actually the first time meeting Finn. That was in 2020. Went along to Welcome Bay. I was invited there to pull, and we actually, what was it? What was the arm wrestling app called back then? Bits, Armbits, Armbits. Yeah, Armbit.
Yeah.
That's how I met you, and you're the one who messaged me back. And that was a high. It was definitely a high in arm wrestling, and basically the beginning of my career in arm wrestling, and meeting you and Aaron and what's his name? Was it Jordan and Jesse who I met there?
Jesse and Jordan, the brothers. Yep. Yeah. Wicked, man.
Yeah, during that time, I was such a high, and that hasn't quite left. It's still exactly the same. Obviously, it's evolved, and getting into more serious training, and throughout those years, there's only been like complete highs, and like with a lot of tournaments being a part of as well, and meeting all the veterans like yourself, Charles and Finn. We used to consider veterans now, so you know, the well-versed and experienced arm wrestlers. And probably one of the lows was just going through injury, and it was something that you explained as well, Finn, that you went through around 2020, and I think it was so difficult, right? And I went through that last year, a few years, and didn't think I would ever get to that point. But I guess when you're a hardcore arm wrestler, you're like bound to get some type of arm wrestling injury. There's so much I want to elaborate on, but yeah, that's being like a high. And another high, just to add on to it, is the evolution of arm wrestling in New Zealand and how much it has grown. It's fantastic. But yeah, that would be one of the lows that I ever went through, but also like a learning type of experience as well. Learning through the injuries and talking to other people like yourself, Finn. I remember I wanted to ask you about that, but we can go further on down the podcast and the conversation. I can ask you questions about the injuries and how you got through it and stuff like that.
Awesome, bro.
But yeah, so it's a bit of highs and lows and a bit of introduction to myself as well. So yeah, it's my highs and lows.
All right.
Cool.
Now the man.
Okay, we go down.
So I'll introduce myself. My name's Finn. I'm an arm wrestler out of Bay of Power in Tauranga. I've been arm wrestling for about 12 years now.
Whoa.
So it's been a little while. Started out in high school when I was probably about 15 years old. Just really enjoyed doing it with my friends, and didn't really realize that there was a whole scene of competitive arm wrestling. So probably a real high for me in my arm wrestling journey was discovering arm wrestling on YouTube, competitive arm wrestling, and discovering guys like John Brzezinski and Devin Laris and Ivan Medyashenkov and Enon Chescu and all these super mega athletes arm wrestling at a ridiculously high level. And I never realized that arm wrestling was so competitive. And it sort of just opened the doors for me, and I realized that it was a proper sport. And yeah, and then it just got me into training, and I just copied everything that I saw online. I practiced heaps with my friends, and then I discovered the New Zealand Arm Wrestling Federation. So another big high was probably traveling up to Auckland and then doing my first arm wrestling training, proper arm wrestling training in Auckland with guys like Anton and James and David and Zurab. So that was amazing, and those guys have so much knowledge, and I learned so much off them in that first arm wrestling session. And I just remember I got absolutely whacked, and it was an awesome learning experience. And I just realized that's when I realized that there was levels to it. And then I just went from there. I just kept on training and back into the cave and training with my friends, and then we moved up to the North Island. Another big high was being a part of the Bay of Power Arm Wrestling Club and getting to meet everybody up here and building the club, and it's been getting bigger ever since. And we've got some really strong guys that are coming along really well, and so it's been awesome watching everyone grow. I was gone for a few, maybe like 1 or 2 years because of injuries, or sort of in and out of the sport. It never really left me though. But I remember before I left, I was feeling quite comfortable with everyone, and then when I came back, everyone felt so much stronger. So it just shows that the level was just going up and up and up. And I think that goes for the whole of New Zealand as well. And then other highs are just all the competitions that I've been to and meeting all of you guys, and just sharing experiences and learning and just being around people that love arm wrestling has been awesome. It's a big part of my life. It always has been. Probably always will be. Probably a low is the same as you, Ben, injuries. So on my right arm, I had an elbow injury probably around 2020, 2021. That sort of took me out of the sport for 2 or 3 years. I wasn't really able to compete at the level I wanted to. I was able to arm wrestle, but not really fully get back into having an healthy arm and competing at a good level. So that was a real low, but arm wrestling never left me, and I just persevered. And eventually I discovered the sort of the right way the way that worked for me of rehabbing, and realized that I was probably doing it wrong. I think all those experiences has probably shaped me as an arm wrestler and developed my technique and turned me into how I arm wrestle today, probably. But yeah, it's a bit about me.
Oh,
nice.
That's exciting. I can't wait to ask some more questions now.
Okay, so it's on to me now. So for highs for me was probably meeting Finn and his two mates for the first time at the expo. We had three super matches.
Yes, I remember that.
What expo was that?
I can't find the videos, but I know it was like my first ever big super matches, and it was like 2 of my friends against 2 of Finn's friends.
I remember it very well.
Yeah. Who did you have, Finn?
I think it was my first super match with Lance Woodruff, I reckon.
Yeah,
I think it was Lance.
So yeah, and my first thoughts was, we're gonna smoke these 3 white boys from Christchurch. But I think my mates lost. So my mates lost, and I'm pretty sure I won my one.
You won yours. Yeah. Yeah.
But it made me realize that even though nationalities, it doesn't really matter, because I always thought that Islanders were always stronger than the white dudes. But on that day, it reflected that it wasn't. And then I talked to my boys later. I was like, bro, how'd you lose to that white dude? No. But those are one of my highlights of meeting Finn and his boys for the first time. And also seeing Finn's growth in the sport from then to now. You know what I mean? My only lows is that I wish I could have started the same age as Finn, age 15. Where I started when I was like 30. So That's when I started my journey. Way too late, but prime's not till 40, so I got one more year.
Mm. I mean, look at Todd Hutchings as well. He's like 60 years old and he's number one, 95 kilos in the world. So
Yeah.
it's never too late.
But yeah, that's my highs and lows, and we can move on to Ben. Ben, you can start on the questions, brother, and
Well-
I'll switch the scenes.
Well, we might as well hit the heart of the matter. Get straight into the super match that you're having. Is it on the 18th?
On the 18th, yeah.
18th. And when did you find out about your match with Max?
So Max asked on Facebook if anyone in the 90 kilo division was keen for a match. And I sort of just put my hand up because I didn't really have any matches coming up, and I thought it would be a good opportunity to pull someone really strong. And so I sort of said, yeah, I'll be keen. And then we sorted out the date for August the 18th. So that was probably like two and a half months ago, maybe a bit longer than that.
Oh wow!
So yeah, plenty of time to prepare, and I know he's been training really hard from the videos and stuff I've seen online.
Right.
Yeah.
And what's
I think he's gonna be. I think he's all fired up from our last podcast. So Max, if you're watching, so you're gonna
Hey,
have
Max,
a hard
I'm
time now
gonna-
because he's all fired up for you now.
Oh, true. Oh, good. That's good. I want him in his best shape.
Nice.
Well, we all voted for you to win. Yeah, it was just the genuine question. Who do you think will win? And I'd mistaken his highlights that he was a hooker. That's just the way he pulls. He's really cupped in, and like Corey said, he uses a lot of his bicep. But anyway, what's your preparation been like prior to your match coming up?
It's been mostly arm wrestling specific. There has been maybe a couple days a week where I've been in the gym doing just general chest and back and arms.
Yeah.
But as I've gotten closer to the match over the past 2.5 months, it's sort of become more arm wrestling specific, and I've been doing a lot more specific lifts, trying to think about how I can get to Max's fingers, how I can target his wrist, because there's no way I want to dive in a hook with that guy.
Wow.
So I've been playing around with the Devon pronation lift a little bit, and yeah, it's fun. It's a fun lift, and it's starting to transition over onto the table now. Been playing around with a little bit of high pronation and a lot of rising.
Yeah.
Rising's always been something that is probably one of my weaknesses that I've tried to, in the last few months, really train and get strong. And then cupping, a lot of like drag with cup in positions that really try and open my hand up, and just trying to hold that static position for like a period of time, just really trying to focus on getting my angles really crisp and tight. Because I know he's got a lot of power, and I'm going to need to stop that somewhere along the line, hopefully. So yeah, that's kind of what my training's been looking like over the last couple months.
I feel like you got the best sparring partners in your clubs too. You got I.T.S, you got his little brothers who are monsters. You got Scott, you got Big Jess. So
yeah, got Anton and Makaidi's brothers Tiafu, and it's been really good because Makaidi's so good in the hook, Scotty's so good in the hook, Anton's so good in the hook as well. So I feel like I've had really good training partners to try and emulate what it would be like to arm wrestle Max. So that's been really helpful for sure.
Yeah.
What type of puller is Max? Because I'm a little confused now, because I thought he was a hooker, and Corey mentioned that he wasn't a hooker. He's literally a top roller, but he cups down a lot, and he'll just put a lot of pressure on his bicep. When he'll lock on there. What type of technical puller is he?
I always thought he was a hook arm wrestler as well, and I've seen him in matches with Anton where he's gotten into this deep hook and they've just dragged back and forth, and he's just been hanging on with his bicep. But then I've also seen like matches with TP where he's gone for a top roll. So he has a top roll lane as well.
Right.
So I think he does at the moment. He does a bit of both. I think probably mainly his ace is probably his hook, but he has a good high hook top roll kind of thing going on as well, from what I've seen.
So he's predominantly a hooker.
I think that's his ace. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, let's I've got a picture on it. And what's your tapering looking like at the moment? We got another 2 weeks out. Are you starting to taper down now on your workouts?
Yeah. So I've kind of been doing a heavy session one day and then a more of a volume session the next day. So my volume sessions, I'm doing a little bit less reps in and a little bit heavier weight. And then in my heavy sessions, I'm trying not to go to failure. So I'm trying to feel good at the end of my session, like I could still keep going if I wanted to. The weights have still been going like pretty steadily, but I haven't been chasing like a 1 rep max for the past couple weeks. I'd say I've sort of been just sticking to maybe around 80% of 1 rep max, and slowly just decreasing the time that I'm spending in the gym, tapering down till I can get to about probably in the next few days. I'll probably stop arm wrestling and I'll just do some probably band work for blood flow and just let the muscles know that they still need to be awake for the match.
Interesting. So you're like, what's your normal? Look at this, me asking you questions, like little secrets, but it's not like that.
No,
but it's genuine. It's all for the arm wrestling community. But what's it like for you a week out from arm wrestling? Do you continue doing band work and gym routine exercises?
I've like over the years, I've kind of my body. If I stop training for too long before an arm wrestling match, if it's a super match or I get stuck in some wars in the tournament, I find that like I get really sore in between rounds and I feel like I'm not conditioned. So over the last couple of years, I've sort of just been getting closer and closer, training closer and closer to the actual competition or tournament. But I won't be trying to like stretch any tendons or train to fatigue or failure. Everything is kind of heavy, but I stop when I still feel good, and I'll keep that heaviness right till probably like 5 days out, and then I'll do maybe just a couple of band sessions doing some lighter stuff. And so really I'll have probably like 3 days rest before the competition, and I feel a lot better that way. It feels like I'm just more prepared that way than if I took like a whole week of rest.
Right.
Yeah. Do you feel like if you rest too long, your tendons get all loose and you feel like you open up?
Yeah.
So
I feel like
boat.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, for sure.
Here's a both quite similar, Charles. So I was asking Charles the same thing. I'm like, wow, I've got a competition coming up this week because I'm actually heading to Palmerston North, Manawatu, for a arm wrestling brawl there.
Oh, cool.
And I was asking the same question. Like, I find it hard to keep still, whether that's ADHD or not. I'm just like, man, I just have to go to the gym. I've got to do something. I've got all my specifics that I have in the garage and stuff like that. I'd always like to go to the gym, but I don't want to redline it as well. Like, I want to have a balance in between those two and not feel so loose and feel so achy. Because I have experienced that when you haven't did any arm wrestling, and I'm like, what the heck? I've rested this whole week and I'm starting to feel a bit loose, feeling more niggles than usual. So I never really understood that.
Well, what's your guys' approach? Like, how long do you guys wait before you stop like training before going into a match?
You want to go first, Charles?
I really don't even have a break. I train right through.
Oh, it's true.
Through my match, yeah. Like I said, I feel if I don't train or if I leave, like if I rest too long, I feel like I have to start from scratch again, and rebuild the strength back and the tendons
Mm.
tightness. So for me, I really didn't take a break. I actually just keep training throughout till I
Come through.
my match.
Yeah.
So, what about you, Ben?
Well, I've been asking advice from you, from yourself and Finn, because originally I was taught this from Matt Mate Warangi. Is like no pulling, no nothing, or at least a week would be standard. Ideally, 2 weeks would look at. But I don't want to quote him. But I remember it was a week, definitely a week out. We weren't allowed to do anything because I remember we were prepping, and I think Charles was coming down to have a super match with John Leach at the time. I think it was the left hand in 2022. And we tried introducing pulling twice a week, and everyone was absolutely cooked. Like, from the following Saturday, then we tried to do a mid training, and yeah, I wouldn't say it's a bad experience, but everyone was aching. Everyone was a lot sore than usual. But he really encouraged the week, so I've always kept to that. But now that I've evolved a bit more now after these years, I've just started doing more band work. Like I'll add in a bit more speed. Starting to taper more down. I'll still work out throughout the week and do like your normal workouts, but it won't be 100%. So something new is tapering down like 50% of the weight now. It's something I'm trialing out at the moment before the match that happens on Saturday.
Who are you versing?
Charles put it up there. He just had him up there. His name's
true.
Nathan.
Oh, yeah, Nathan from what club is he from?
Taranaki. So he's like they call him like the, what do you call it? The miniature version of Liam Street.
Oh, nice.
So
Good hook then. Yeah.
They pull quite similar. I haven't seen quite in a hook, but that's one thing I haven't done with Liam Street. Is I haven't hooked. I haven't gone into a hook. He's just sitting out there, comfortably with his post, and he's just really comfortable there. So I'm just trying to shoot and chop down on it.
Yeah, I have a memory of trying to go into a hook with Liam Street at one of the Hamilton events that was on, and I just dived into the hook, and there was no way I was going through there. He was way too strong there. I remember this match. This was after you had pulled Aaron, Charles?
Yeah.
And you're like, I haven't had enough.
Him to bully me.
Oh, did you?
Although you took my hand here, and you got that one. Yeah. And then it ended up in a gnarly flop wrist. I was probably around 98, 100, I reckon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hope
but I remember Charles did a mean war with Aaron before this.
Ah.
Yeah. Well, I don't even know if it was much of a war. I think, Charles, you beat Aaron, you took his hand, and it's pretty convincing, eh?
Yeah.
You would have been happy though, Finn.
Yeah, well, I felt my elbow for like 6 months after this. This was right during the time when my elbow was kind of buggered, and I was like, oh.
What were you attempting? Like a hook? Were you trying to hook him, or were you trying to go outside?
Last round, I tried to hook him. I think it was the first round. I had a better strap set up. I think the buckle was on Charles' side. Managed to get a top roll. I don't think Charles was quite ready. Second round, Charles was ready. We had an even strap set up. Charles applied probably better pressure into the hand and had a stronger hand than me and took my hand. So pinned me. And then, pretty much after that, I think Charles did a really good job of just holding my fingers and holding me in a position that was burning out my wrist flexors. And so I just had to pretty much rely on elbow and side pressure and Charles's fatigue from Aaron as well.
Look at that. Look at Mate Iwarangi. What year was this?
Yeah. This was a few years ago.
Yes. This was
it 220?
22?
Oh, okay.
23?
Why did I not see that?
20, is it? No,
thought it
yeah,
was
this was before I jumped into the supers, I think, for the nationals.
Yeah. Because how heavy were you around here, Charles?
I think I was because nationals was 95. It was I 95 or hundreds? So I
Oh
made
wow.
weight for the super
Yeah.
for the heavies, but last minute I decided to go in the supers and try my luck. And
Mhm.
yeah,
Okay,
so
man, I remember
match,
watching that
yeah.
video.
I was like, I remember Finn coming up to that. He's like, "Bro, do you want to pull?" And knowing me, I'm like, "Yep." Still think he's still a white boy. Yeah, I can beat
This
this white
guy.
boy. All good, and end up
Yeah.
losing.
Yeah.
Good on you. Good on you, Finn.
Yeah.
Please.
You always say yes though, so it's good. That's why you get so much stronger.
Well, everyone calls this fella the prodigy. They call him the New Zealand Devon Larratt. Finn.
Devon Larratt.
Yeah,
That's your
Finn's the Devon
nickname,
Larratt
Finn.
of New Zealand.
Good.
So
Well, I'm trying to get a bit more well rounded. Lately, it's been a bit more top rolling than hooking.
oh shoots, what the hell? Oh, sorry, I got a question from Malia. Finn, do you have your eyes on someone outside of New Zealand you like to supermatch?
Good question. I haven't looked too far overseas. I guess it's, my category is 90 kilos. Whoever is the top in the 90 kilo class is the guy that I want to go for. And in New Zealand right now, it's Jack. So I probably want to try and have a go with him again, probably at nationals. And then whoever's the top in the 90 kilos in Australia at the moment, I think the
It's
top two
Gary, I
guys.
think.
Is it
Isn't it
Gary?
Gary?
I think Jack just beat
Yes,
Gary though.
Gary.
so-
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think Gary was their number one for
Was he?
the 90s.
I don't think when I've watched Gary and analyzed your match with Jack, I feel like you've got the experience behind, facing Jack. Well, I think he's had Jack he's had him twice now on occasions, but you've had Jack at least 3-4 times now.
Yeah, I versed him a few years ago when he was a bit earlier on in his arm wrestling journey. He's obviously a different arm wrestler now. He's a lot stronger now. I had some good success with him at Meat Stock in Hamilton a couple years back, and then he got me the last time that we pulled at nationals. So, yeah, definitely. He's definitely the goal, and then I guess maybe looking up in weight classes if I can do that. 100 kilos, 100 plus.
That could be a possibility because Corey's stepping up in the supers, so they need a new champ up there now. And the heavy hitters.
Yeah, who are the 100 kilo guys at the moment? That category is getting small. Everyone seems to be going into the 110s.
I think what's
It's like Anton Max and
yeah, because it was Corey who's been dominating that area. So now that he's moving up to the supers this year, I don't know who's going to be the top dog down there now. Could be Ethan.
Well, who's in that category at the moment?
I can't think of it. I think it was Scott Clark.
yeah.
Wadamu
over 110 at the moment. Wadamu's 100 kilo class. Yeah. Anton.
Liam Street.
Yeah, he's hanging around 100 kilos.
Nathan, that guy that I'll be pulling on Saturday. He's in there.
Yeah. Is it Neil from Gisborne?
Neil. What's his name? Matthew Johnston.
Mark.
Mark. Yeah, true. So there's still a few
guys.
Yeah. Also, hold on 1 second. There's another question from Benji Puri. Who's the one match you lost that you would want to run it back with? besides Jack.
I was gonna say that was an easy answer.
Well, what be
I already
Jack?
know it's
Yeah.
gonna be Jack. Surely there's another
Um,
loss we want to run it back with someone.
Probably, yeah, probably one of my last match in Australia when we went over the top. Because I got fouled out, so I didn't even get to pull. So I moved in the ref grip, so I got fouled out. So technically, I lost that one. So I'd like to run that one back and do that again.
Do you know his name?
I can't remember his name. He's a 90-kilo guy, strong hand, explosive kind of top roller. Trained with Ryan Bowen quite a bit.
Oh,
Um,
Ethan.
Yeah, maybe Ethan. Maybe that's his name. Yeah,
Ethan,
yeah,
the
he's
tall
really.
dude. And does he do
Yeah,
the low hand
yeah,
grip?
yeah, yeah. I think it was him. Yeah, so yeah, it was my mistake in moving in that ref script, and I wasn't as technical as I should have been, and maybe I should have spoken up for myself a little bit more.
Yeah.
So that's definitely the match that I'd run back for sure.
That'll be an
Yeah.
interesting match, you and Ethan.
Mm.
Yeah,
Mm.
I know
Ethan.
Ethan's real explosive off the go. But
Yeah,
feel
I
that
could
if
feel it as well.
once you catch him, he's pretty much over. So
Yeah. Have you pulled him before?
yeah, I have.
Yeah.
If like I said, it's his explosives off the go.
Yeah.
For him, it's either he'll get you or he won't get you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Charles, are you able to pull up some footage of Ethan if you can find any?
okay, I will try my
If you
best.
can,
Yep.
because I was watching. Out of all people, I didn't see you pull up there, Charles. But I was watching Jack, Lawrence, and Finn that whole time. I was watching you both like a hawk. It's like, come on, come on. Okay, there's
Oh,
Sam
at
Burnett.
over the top, was it?
Yeah,
We
at
talking
over the
about?
top. Did you pull Sam Burnett, Finn?
Nah, I didn't. I didn't end up pulling Sam. Yeah, no. Once I got to that last round, and then I fouled out. So, yeah, so I didn't get to reach those guys.
Damn it, those.
Yeah,
Ah,
he was looking strong as well. It would have been cool to pull him.
I think you had him.
Yeah.
I was a little bit nervous too because I'd seen the first round. I
Mm,
seen you both initiate. Did you
yeah.
get into the straps, or was it just was it just a restart pretty much?
I think it was a ref script outside of the strap because we were both probably loading quite a bit at the start. Yeah. Yeah, I learned a lot from that tournament. That was a really cool tournament.
What was it that? So, what was the foul? What did you do? Did you move in the setup? Or
Just moving in the setup, and then moving in the setup, and then they called it basically, and I think I must have done it again before they closed their hands, and yeah, so they called the foul.
Oh man, if I
Yeah,
could,
frustrating.
I would change the rules.
Nah, yeah, it was so just
Dang it.
because how Kiwis are were nice and chilled
Mm,
and our setups and all that, and the 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 discipline you needed to be in the setup was crazy. Like,
yeah,
even
they're a lot stricter.
I really wanted to pull against Andrew because he was my first match, but I ended up
Yeah,
winning on stupid fouls, which I really wanted just to pull and have a
Just the
battle. But
pull.
yeah,
That was the same thing with Jack and Sam Burnett, or Sam Barnett or Burnett. I don't know if I'm pronouncing
mm,
it right. But I think that was the same issue with Jack. I think there was an elbow. You couldn't really see
mm,
it, but just a minor little elbow, and they stopped the damn match.
yeah. They're pretty strict on it over there, and they follow the WAF rules.
What was the results at the end? What was the ranking? Who came first in the 90-kilogram category?
I think it was Gary on the right hand. Can't remember the guy on the left hand. Who?
Who was it from 1 to 4 or 1 to 5?
Well, Gary was number one. Honestly, I can't even remember the rest.
yeah,
I think I got fifth.
You got fifth, so there must have been Sam and amongst them, Ethan.
Yes. Sam.
Gary. It'll be interesting to see a match happen there. Because I know they're having a comp in Brisbane. I know the Street Brothers are going to Brisbane around June, July, maybe around August. Heading over around August. There's a comp happening there. So
Oh, cool.
he could be pulling there if you're planning to go overseas anytime soon.
Was Jack in your weight class, Finn, or was he below
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, no, Jack was in the 90s.
Oh, so he was in the 90s too.
I think he got stuck in a couple wars and he might have picked up a couple of elbow fouls.
Yeah.
Damn. Oh, that's right. Because I think I was saying, God damn, all our top dogs are cowards.
Yeah.
Well, New Zealand did pretty well. They did pretty well. Hands up, all of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Malachi and Makati did really well in the supers. They were really strong, dominating.
Did they put you in the? Are you in the Oceanic rankings, Finn, or no?
Yeah, I think I'm like 7th or something like that in the 90s.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
That was a tough one for you, Charles. Did you have Mati Wanangi first round or?
No, here's my second round.
Second round, eh?
And then
That's
he
tough, eh?
my wrist was wrecked, and then I had Malachi.
Oh, mate.
Yeah, which the press just
Yeah.
dismantled it. So
That's tough. That's tough.
Was that right-handed, Charles?
yeah, I need to do right.
Me too.
But like I said, that's just the game of arm wrestling, and all you can do is just bounce back from it. So that's what I'm doing now, trying to bounce back from it. My first super match against Corey proves that I'm coming back. So all you guys coming in supers and at nationals, don't think I'm going down easy, boys.
Well, speaking of injuries, I wanted to ask Finn this question as well. Because when did you initially get your injury, and what was your rehab process like during that time? So I was going to ask you like what you did to recover, what your pros and cons were, because you mentioned that throughout your rehab journey, you said there was a point of reference where you started doing it wrong, or you were doing it wrong when you thought you were doing it right. You got to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, man. So I can't remember exactly when it was. It must have been around 2021, 2022. I remember I was training so specifically for just doing pronation and top roll and just trying to get strong in that lane, and I'd been sort of neglecting the hook lane and elbow conditioning. Right. And so my elbow wasn't as strong, and I remember just training in the hook, training with some really strong guys. I think it was like training in Auckland with Corey and Charles and stuff. And yeah, my elbow just pretty much went, and it was most likely that ulnar collateral ligament, the inner ligament of your elbow that holds everything together and helps you with side pressure. And yeah, it was tricky trying to rehab that injury, because I'd rest it for like a week or two and it'd feel good, and then I'd make the mistake of trying to come back into arm wrestling, and then I'd just re-injure it again and it would just start hurting again. And I'd just keep following that sort of pattern of I'll leave it a little bit longer. Maybe I'll train in the gym and I'll do my normal lifts, but I won't arm wrestle for a month, and then I'll come back and I'll try arm wrestling, and the same thing would keep happening. It'd be okay for like the first 10, 15 minutes, and then it would just re-injure again and just start hurting. And it was probably a good cycle of doing that for like two years and just not really learning from the mistake that I was making. And I thought if I just kept resting and then coming back and trying to control what I did in the arm wrestling session when I came back, it would just get better, but it just didn't get better. And it wasn't until I went to see a hand therapist in Auckland, because I wanted to be competitive in arm wrestling, I loved arm wrestling, and I wanted to do it, forever. And it was really messing with me that I couldn't do it at the level I wanted to do it. So I went to this hand therapist, and he sort of explained to me that, it's likely it's these ligaments here. And the way that you can heal those ligaments is you have to expose it to a load that's similar to the load that you'd feel in arm wrestling, a similar angle, but you have to start at a weight that is not going to hurt the ligaments, so you're not going to feel any pain, and then you have to hold that position for around an amount of time, 10, 20, 30 seconds, and then every 48 hours let the ligaments heal themselves up, and then do the lifts again, and it's probably just like side pressure with a belt or a rolling handle, and just holding and just loading up those ligaments, letting them take some strain, but not doing so much strain that it's going to break them down again. And I think that was the thing that sort of changed everything, is that I had a controlled way to load the ligaments up without, going to an arm wrestling session and training with someone really strong, going into a hook. And then those ligaments, they can't take that load. So they just, they just separate again. So it was a period of doing that for months, and then just slowly building up the weight, and it'd be like 1 kilo to 2 kilos a week. And I might have started at like 15 kilos of side pressure, and then eventually I would have built it up to like 50 kilos of side pressure over months.
Right.
And then the other side of that is choosing some really good people to train with that know where you're sore, and they won't take you into that spot where you're sore. So you can still train arm wrestling, but you're not at any risk of injuring that elbow again.
Wow.
So it's probably those two things: loading the ligaments the right way, giving them a good amount of rest, and doing it in a controlled sort of environment. And then coming back into arm wrestling, training with some guys that understand that your elbow's not super happy at the moment, and so they need to be, cautious and ease into things, warming up really good, and then keeping the session sort of, an hour long rather than 2-3 hours long, where things can get out of control. And that's when things started getting back into control. And I still had like downs and ups again. Like I'd still feel it. It took probably like another year and a half, and even to this day, it's not as strong as the left through side pressure, which is why I'm still more of a top roll kind of style arm wrestler on the right hand. Yeah. So, yeah.
No,
But yeah,
I wanted to ask,
hopefully that answers your question.
do you have any questions, Charles?
Oh, shoots. Sorry, I was trying to look for videos of Finn, man, but they're so hard to find New Zealand arm wrestling films, bro. I went through, I was like, what the hell? Why can't I find any videos of New Zealand arm wrestling over there? It feels like they
Yeah.
stopped recording for some reason.
It's all on Facebook. The majority of it's on Facebook Lives, but then some have, I think some have been excluded out of there, unfortunately. Now, I wanted to ask you that, and was it trial and error between you having to do therapy and then table time? Were you still doing table time at the time? Was it you took a period off and then you went back onto the table, or did you realize that you could afford to be on a table but with restrictions and boundaries? Obviously, communicating that with other pullers.
Yeah, so like I would definitely try and go back too early, and then I'd hurt the elbow again. And then after talking with the hand therapist, I sort of realized that maybe going into an arm wrestling training and staying for 2 hours and diving into the hook with people wasn't the best way of trying to rehab my elbow. And so it was a mix of doing the loading in the gym with the side pressure, and then doing arm wrestling training, but not doing it as often. So once every 2 weeks, trying to aim for maybe a 45-minute session and trying to stay away from pain. Pain is generally like a good indicator that you're doing something wrong.
Right.
And then building the time up to like an hour and a half, and then going from one arm wrestling session every 2 weeks to one arm wrestling session every week. But it all takes a lot of time. Yeah.
Did you do any other therapy on top of that? Did you do any other like therapy? Like, obviously you went to a hand therapist. Did you use any other specialists to utilize, or to bring your body back into alignment, or did you solely just focus on the hand therapist?
No, not really. I think it was just loading the ligaments up, in the same way that they were injured, being pulled apart. They needed to get stronger again, knit together. So the way that you do that is you do the same load to the ligament, but you just have to start at a place that's not going to hurt it, and then you just build it up,
Right.
so that the ligaments get used to the load that you want to put through it. So that's kind of the main thing that I did, pretty much. Yeah, nothing else really.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, no, it was good.
Oh, Corey Skinner just jumped
Oh.
online. What are Finn's goals this year?
Well, hopefully I do well against Max. Then maybe I'll run it again with Jack at Nationals. And then, I think that's probably heaps for this year, and see where we go from there.
I think you were going to Japan, Finn?
Oh,
for Worlds?
I thought about it. But yeah, I'm not too sure at the moment. I haven't booked any tickets, haven't really looked too much into it. So undecided at the moment. Yeah. Are you guys going?
Yeah, well, we got Tahiti top 8, and then it's Japan straight after that. So I think Dan's be flying to Korea, and then back to Japan, and then Korea, and then back to New Zealand. So,
far out.
That guy. So,
cool.
We'll give up to. Okay, so what's the another question? What's the best advice you would give to our up and coming youth pullers in New Zealand?
Oh yes, good question.
Good question. I would say get involved in a club as soon as you can. I'd also say get into the gym and get as strong as you can. And just be consistent. Every week, show up to trainings, go to the gym. You can train every day, you just train something else. And then just stay with it. I feel like it's a lot of arm wrestling is just the longer that you're in the sport, the more consistent you do, the stronger you get. It's a long game with arm wrestling. So I think don't be discouraged by if you show up to a tournament and you lose, first or second round, or you get whacked by everyone in training, because it's everyone's experience with arm wrestling. Everyone shows up for the first time and gets whacked, and everyone gets a bit discouraged, but you just keep showing up, keep going, and then the years go by and you get stronger and stronger. So that's what I'd say. Just be consistent.
Perfect advice.
Yeah.
All right, some wrap-up questions there, Ben, and then we can call it the night.
It's a following up question that we had with Corey Skinner, and it was about the old-timer spin. Like, who would you like to see return back into arm wrestling again from New Zealand?
Ooh, well, Thomas Fitzy needs to come back, I reckon.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that guy in ages.
We gotta have him on.
Yeah,
I gave him a call last week. He was like, "You're always calling me."
yeah. He needs to come back. Yeah. Be cool to see. Cool to see Lance again. If he ever came back, that'd be awesome.
Old one, real old one. Holy Rick.
Yeah. Peter Engelbergen. I don't know if you guys remember that guy as well. He was really good.
Yeah,
really good.
My first ever tournament I did in New Zealand was up in the Shore, and that's the first time I seen a little guy take on the Beast in the finals, and I'm like, what the?
Crazy, right? So crazy, man. Yeah.
He took on the Beast.
Yeah, when I at my first tournament, I saw him. It was the Beast and Peter. He was the finals, I think it was. And I was like, God damn, this little fella. And he was like going in the hook with Mad. And I was like, sheesh.
So strong. I remember seeing him against, it was one of the fitness expos, and he got put against Levi Holly. And at the time, Levi must have been like 110 kilos or something, and Peter was like 70 kilos, and it was still a match. Like, it was still a war, and I was like, far out, man. Peter's strong.
Funny you
What
said that
the-
because I was actually watching that match today.
No way.
Is he,
How about
is he
that?
blonde? Is Peter
Yeah.
blonde hair? Does he have blonde hair?
I think so. Yeah.
No,
Maybe.
I've seen.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, he's a little. He was was he
Mm.
the South African champ back in the days or something like that? He was.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. He's very good. Very good.
I was watching all those videos and I can't find them. I don't know where I was watching it on.
Lost in the archive.
Yeah, lost
There's-
in the archives.
I do have one person in mind, and I want to follow up with it too. Was Josh Barnett? Did you ever pull with him?
Yes.
Have you ever had a battle before?
Yes. We used to train quite often actually, because he there was a period of time where he lived in Tauranga, and so we'd go around to Anton's place and we'd train, every week. He's always been super strong. And then I think he's in Hamilton at the moment, and yeah, there was a period of time a few years ago when I was going over there and I was training with him and Matiwangi as well. And yeah, just his hook is so amazing. It's so strong. We had a lot of fun training with that guy. Yeah, so he's definitely someone that needs to come back, I reckon, for sure. Yeah.
I always wanted to see you and Josh have a match because that time when you were injured and you're resting between 220 or 221, 222, I think Josh was starting to rise. He was starting to
Yeah.
he was consistent with his wins, especially
Yeah.
with his battles with Zurab.
Yeah.
Zurab would win on the left and Josh would win on the right, and then Josh made his rise around 220 to 221. And late 222, he started losing his hand in a few matches. And I stopped by, and he had one super match with this guy from Korea, and I was having a beer. He's like, Ben, I need to work on my hand. I know it's my hand, because the guy was just a low hand top roller. Whenever Josh got into the strap, he would still contain him, but he would always lose him with the hand. But he was, he unfortunately he lost that match, and that was his rise and fall. And I think his last match he probably had was around 2023 when we had nationals. I think that was Ash's last year being in the 90 kilo weight division. No, it would be good to see Josh come back, because I've always wanted to see you both have a super match.
Well, it's funny because like quite often we'd be pretty close. He'd be hooking and I'd be top rolling, and we'd get sort of stuck in the middle, and it'd be quite fun, sort of seesawing back and forth.
Okay, so last question for me. Your prediction with Anton versus Max on the left.
Good match.
So what's your predictions on the? Is it best of 5 or what's the super match?
For me, it's best of 6. I don't know if Anton's doing best of 6 as well. If he's doing best of 5.
So who are you going for? Oh, well, let's start with Ben. Who are you leaning towards? Anton versus Max. Your prediction?
Man, I know they'll be listening to this. Damn
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Hey, Ben's gonna be next. This is not fair. Okay, let me take a big breath. I'd say Max. I'm gonna go with Max.
Nice, cool.
I want to say Anton.
What's your 3-2, 2-3? What to Max?
It's gonna be close. I'll be close. Be close. I only say Max. I'd say about 3-2. Yeah, I'll be really close.
3-2 to Max.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry,
I'll go
Anton.
next because Finn. That's Finn's captain, so he has to go last.
I'll be biased.
Yeah. For me, because I've only recently just been watching Max's left-hand matches because that's all I can find. Because he beat Ian on the left, and I think he beat Corey on the left. I can't remember. So I'm going to go with Max 1-4.
1-4.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Well, I mean 3-1 because if it's best of 5.
Yeah.
Well, best of 6 or best of 5?
I'll say best of 5 will be 3-1 to Max. And then down to Finn.
Well,
To finish us off.
no bias involved. It's pretty hard to try and contain Anton at the moment. His back pressure is feeling rock solid. So I'm going to have to say, I reckon 3-0 to Anton. I think he takes Max's hand. Yeah.
Ooh, he's got an inside info, this fella.
Yeah. Yeah. No bias here.
No bias. Awesome.
Yeah, no biases. And you've got more insight than us, like Charles said. You actually get to pull with Anton. Yeah, that's interesting.
I've never pulled
So
with Max though, so I'm not sure what level Max is at.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't actually pulled with Max. Like I think the only time I pulled with Max was after TP and his super match, and then that was it. I haven't found Max either than that just once. So that's why. And I don't even know how the South Islands train down there because you don't really see any clips of them training either. So I don't know if they just do individual trainings or what. So
I'm not sure how often they train or what guys he's training with. I think I've seen him doing some two-handed training though. So he's strong. He's strong.
Yeah. Okay, so that's us. No, anything else, Ben, before we say goodbye?
No, I just want to say thank you, Finn, for jumping on the platform. I'm grateful to have you on, and it's always exciting to see your face. But now we get to do some person, so it's definitely stoked to have you on board. And thank you again for jumping on.
Awesome. Thank you for the invitation, guys. I appreciate it. It's been awesome chatting with you.
This is what New Zealand needs, and for the New Zealand community to see these athletes, especially Finn is one of those hidden gems that probably not many people know of, but he is the Lariat of New Zealand, and we're glad to showcase him on the podcast. Boom.
Awesome.
Alrighty, whānau, and thank you again, Finn, and we are out.
Yes.
See you for the next one, boys.
Yeah, thank you, Finn.
Cheers, guys.
Love to have you on again. And
Hello.
Hey!
Is that the guy when the shoe came off?
So I gave everything that I could, even if you break my arm or you carry me off. That's literally my mindset at that time. So,
and I'll see you on the next time on Dragon Ball Z. Oh, where arm wrestling matters. Boom!
This is